and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comic books, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. The format of our show is we start out with some news, again about comic books, TV, or video games, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
Yeah, so for the first bit of news, it will be video game related. I got to play Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS.
He was so excited. I was texting him, he's like, "Not now, woman. I'm playing a game."
Yeah, so I do have some impressions from playing the demo. In the demo, you get to play as one of 5 characters: Mario, Link, Pikachu, the villager from Animal Crossing, and Mega Man.
Awesome. Which one did you choose?
I mainly played as Link, Pikachu, and Mario.
Good job, Pikachu.
I played a little bit with the villager, and I played some with Mega Man. Mega Man is mainly bigger with the long-range weapons. That's not how I play. I like to get up close and actually do some really fast combos along with a smash to finish them off with, and that's why I play as Fox. Unfortunately, Fox was not playable in the demo, but I'm hoping once the game comes out, he's a little bit better than he was in Brawl, because he was way too light in Brawl and he kind of sucked, so I have to play as Wolf. But as far as this game does play faster than Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It does not play as quick as Melee, which is something that they've been saying from the beginning, and it's definitely true. I still think it's a little bit too floaty for my personal preference. I'd have to actually play it on the console to see if I enjoy it more than Brawl. But so far, it's been a pretty fun experience on the 3DS. Some of the things I did not like about it: on the smaller screens, if you're playing on a regular 3DS, it's going to be hard to keep up with the action, with the items, the characters, even with the outlines that they did on each one and after every attack. It's still easy to get lost in what's happening on it. But you only have to really, I guess, I don't want to say put up with it, but I mean, yeah, you're putting up with an inferior version of Super Smash Bros. Until the Wii U version comes out, only for a month, because we do have a release date, which is November. The demo is up now on the eShop. You can play it. It does have limited amount of tries, but it's more than enough until the game releases.
Right. Well, that's good. That's awesome. I'm glad they improved some things from the last one. I, however, will not be playing this demo because I would just be angry.
Like in Mario Kart.
I would play as Pikachu, and I'm like, "Come on, Pikachu, let's go find some Poliwhirls." Oh no, it's Gengar!
To everyone that got the demo code, I hope you enjoyed it. We gave it out on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. From the looks of it, they're having a lot of fun with it.
Moving on to some movie news. In anticipation for Avengers 2 Age of Ultron and Star Wars Episode 7, AMC has raised the investment in improving their theater experience for 2015.
Yeah, they've put in millions to really improve all of their theaters. According to their data, they've actually gotten more people coming to the theater since they've improved the seating and added the dine-in option.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who go to the dine-in. Like, it's really expensive, but for people who just want, like, I guess an inexpensive date night, for the most part, if you think about it, it's dinner and a movie right there and you're done.
It's a smart time to do it, because when Avengers and Star Wars come about, everyone's going to go see these 2 movies. They're going to be huge for them, so that way they can look at investors or whoever they're trying to impress and be like, "Look, all of this that we did is paying off, and everyone's going to come back and return." And we don't have to worry about lowering the prices.
Not. I will say the dine-in theater is great for the midnight movies because you get to choose what seat you're in. So you can buy your tickets in advance, choose what seat you're going to be in, and then show up like 30 minutes before the movie rather than 4 hours.
Yeah, I think we ended up doing that for The Dark Knight Rises for the midnight. They will add more MacGuffin bars and IMAX screens along with the recliner seats similar to what is offered at the dine-in rooms.
Awesome. So ticket prices will just keep on rising. Just wait for it to come out on Blu-ray.
Let's hope not. I like the MacGuffin bar. We've been to them.
They have a great mudslide.
They do. The prices are okay. But I think alcohol and any movie theater is going to do pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
So I just hope it does good for AMC. They're the second largest movie theater chain in the country. So
who's the first?
I believe it's Regal.
Regal? I don't like Regal as much. But good for AMC. I do hope that this gets more people to the theater. And they should just lower prices.
You just want everything. To continue with the movie news, 20th Century Fox has officially announced the Deadpool movie for February 12th, 2016. I have people come into the comic shop all the time, ever since that test footage released with Deadpool, asking me, hey man, when's that Deadpool movie coming out? What do you know about it? I'm like, dude, you know as much as I do.
You should be like, I know everything. Give me $20 and I can get
I'll
you
tell
like
you everything.
a demo reel.
Give me $20 and then I will show you what the book is coming out that is going to be based on this movie here.
But I won't give you the book. I'll just show you where it is.
Ryan Reynolds is set to return as Deadpool. Obviously not the Deadpool Baraka that we saw in the last Wolverine movie, the first one. People hated it. And I was like, I guess that's whatever. I'd be really upset too if I was a Deadpool fan. But we did have a question from a Twitter follower.
At Drunk Geek Blog asked, we'd love to hear all your dreams and fears at the announcement of the new Deadpool movie. Can't wait to listen.
So we want to start off with your thoughts. You saw the demo that they released.
Yes, so are we talking about my dreams?
With the Deadpool movie.
Okay, so Batman's in it, and Deadpool's not. Those are my dreams. I mean, I thought it looked okay. You could definitely tell that it was all CGI, which bothered me. But I guess how can you really, film that otherwise?
Right.
I'm not big into Deadpool. I'm sure that they'll do a good job. He'll break the fourth wall and it'll be funny.
I have very similar thoughts. I'm not big on Deadpool either. I understand why people like him, and I'm sure they're going to do a great job with the movie. People reacted really well to this leaked footage, so to say. So as long as they follow that path and that style, then I think they're going to be just fine. I don't see this Deadpool appearing in, let's say, X-Men Apocalypse, which is coming out that same year. I think it's going to be its own standalone movie, and then go on from there with the sequels, especially if they're keeping the CGI look to it. So I'm excited for Deadpool fans. Me personally, it doesn't matter.
It's great, though. I mean, this just promotes comic books, though.
Right, that's true.
Which is awesome, which is the best part of it, because people will say, well, this looks funny, let's see it, and now they're going out and buying comics, and it just keeps it that much more alive.
Very true. The movies do help out comic shops. I see it every time a big movie releases, customers come in, they're like, hey, I want to read more about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, here you go, Legendary Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, and Batman.
Saga, here. These are the Guardians of my Galaxy, the Justice League.
They're like, Justice League, Suddenly really interested. Yeah, I mean, the Deadpool books don't need any help to move. People buy them. I have a hard time keeping it in the back issue bins. But, if I can attach a trade paperback, like a Deadpool one, or maybe they'll jump into another Marvel character, even better.
So we did also see the Batman vs. Superman Batmobile.
Yeah, we forgot to cover it last week. There's been a lot of reactions on this one, both positive and negative. Your thoughts?
It was much lighter than I thought it was going to be.
You mean in color or in mass?
In color.
Okay.
Yes, it was very light. At least the picture that I saw, it was almost kind of like a tan, sort of.
Yeah, you're talking about the overhead set photo that they took.
Yes. And I was expecting, it's a Batmobile, and it needs to be dark and blend in with the shadows, and, but, again, this is all kind of like shitty camera phone pictures, until we see the real thing, until we see it with editing, you can't really judge it.
And Zack Snyder did release that one photo. It was the front picture of the Batmobile, and it is actually dark. You saw it. It had the gun mounted at the front of the hood of it.
Probably.
That's the thing people had most of an issue with. They don't care so much with the style. They think it looks fine. It's like a hybrid of the Tumbler and the sleekness of the Batmobile that we saw in, say, the Burton movies. It's like a hybrid of those two things, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I think it looks great. The set photo where it shows the doors open, it looks cool. As far as the gun mounted on the front, I don't see where people are having an issue with this. Like, I understand that they're saying Batman doesn't use guns, but he uses guns in the movies, he uses guns in the comic books. What he doesn't do is shoot people and kill them with them.
Right, they're rubber bullets.
He swears. I love that.
I don't have a problem with it. He needs, grenades to blow open things, too, so he'll probably use it for that.
He used guns in The Dark Knight. It was on the Bat Pod. Remember, he was using it to
blow up things. Yes, I do remember.
Missiles, he used bullets when he was going through the glass mall, right through the mall. He was blowing up the doors and everything. So I'm sure it's not going to be him, mowing people away. Like, maybe if he was actually using real bullets and not rubber bullets and firing and killing people, I'd be like, all right, well, I can see why people are upset. But it could, even if he shoots at people, it could be rubber bullets like in The Dark Knight Returns, which is where they're getting a lot of the inspiration for this movie for.
So that's probably what it is. Really, guys, calm down.
This news came in later in the week, and I loved it. Alan Burnett and Bruce Timm have teamed up again to bring a new Justice League animated special.
Somebody put enough zeros on that paycheck, and they said, fine. It will be called Justice League Gods and Monsters Chronicles. It will be a 3-episode online miniseries debuting in spring of 2015 that will lead up to a direct-to-DVD animated film, also called Justice League Gods and Monsters, releasing in late 2015.
So originally they were just going to make this a full-on animated feature without the Chronicles part to it. I think it's smart of them to release this free material first. On YouTube is what it's going to stream on through their channel, and then have it lead up to the full animated feature, which will release on DVD.
Somebody put even more zeros on that paycheck. They're like, we're just going to put it on DVD. Will this change your mind? Start scribbling some zeros. They're like, yes.
This coincides as well with a picture that Kevin Conroy tweeted earlier, in which he said, I'm back in the WB studio, and he has the headphones on, and he's in front of a thing.
That's why they announced this so early, because they're like, God damn it, he's going to spill it soon. Just get on that first.
I'm working on Gods and Monsters.
It's a new Justice League movie.
It will come to online first, and then DVD at the price of $29.99. They got to beat him to the punch now. Like, that's the thing.
And Kevin Conroy's like, good, it's working.
So if Kevin Conroy's in it, and I hope he is,
I'm sure
as Batman,
he is. You think Bruce Timm will let anybody but Conroy do it?
He did it for the Bruce Timm special with Batman, not the Batman Beyond one, but the one in which it was like an old style black and white one. It was Conroy. Even though it was one line, he still had like the grunts and all of that. I remember you said once you heard it, you're like, that's a Kevin Conroy grunt. I know that's Kevin Conroy.
I did. Is that sad that I know who he is by his
It's not
pained
sad.
grunts?
It's impressive.
The true fan. Super, super excited for this, though. They have announced that it's going to be a little darker than what we've ever seen before, and I know a lot of people are like, ugh, who needs it darker? I'm like, it's Bruce Timm, please. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, they've more than earned that at that point. They've made the animated series, Justice League, Batman Beyond. Have at it. I would trust them completely with whatever they wanted to put out.
You'd give him, like, your firstborn and be like, raise him. However he turns out, we'll be fine.
Put him in a movie and we'll put it out. That's fine. DC has also released the solicitations for December. Here are some of the things that interested Kelly and I. Of course, you can check out the full solicitations at newsarama.com or at your local comic book shop when the new previews catalog releases.
First up, we have Darwin Cook variants, which I believe we talked about last week. They are all beautiful. Buy them all. You can check them all out on the next previews catalog or in newsarama.com.
We also had Gail Simone's Secret Six solicited for December.
Her new quote-unquote secret project. I'm like, really, Gail? We all know what that means.
Yeah, we're going to jump on that series.
We still have no news on what exactly Batman's Endgame is about.
Yeah, they're just the only cover they're releasing for it. It's a variation of that first cover of Endgame where it's just a swarm of bats. They told us that it's going to be a completely different cover once it releases, but they don't want to spoil who the villain is, what the story is about.
Ask Kevin Conroy.
He'll know, right? The one thing that kind of bugged me, and my manager at the comic shop had the same worries on it, is that Scott Snyder's telling us nothing about the Batman story. So he's not really sure how to order. Like Scott's saying, order up on this. You're gonna want to see. You're gonna want to get as many copies as you can, because at the end of it, there's a big reveal and a big change in the Batman universe. He's like, all right, well, what is it about, though? Like, you got to give us more to go off of. How many more extra do I really have to order? Because in the past, and he's told me he's been in the industry for years, is that, other companies, including DC, will be like, oh, you're going to want copies of this book, and they'll let them know nothing about it, and then nothing happens in the book. Like, they'll just try to up their numbers. And I'm sure with Scott Snyder, I mean, it's going to sell the books and all that, but we still don't know exactly how many copies we should be getting.
I think everyone in the world should order less, so they make less, so it's worth more.
Well, Scott Snyder tweeted it, and I told him, what can you really give us? I mean, honestly, many comic shops have been hurt.
Book. That's what he can give you. It's Batman.
And he's like, I just don't want you guys to miss out on reorders and all that, because it's going to be really difficult once the book releases. But that's what second prints are for. If people want a first print, they can, I guess, pay for it at a comic shop if they can get their hands on it or on eBay. But second prints are there for people that legitimately want to read the story and aren't looking to just flip the book. So.
Right.
We also had the solicitation for Batman and Robin number 27. The cover shows Batman in the Hellbat suit going up against Darkseid.
You were so excited. You're like, wow!
I was like, what the fuck has Darkseid done to get into this kind of trouble? Batman's coming after you. You know that's not going to be a good day.
There needs to be another scene where Darkseid falls for Batman, like in that one movie, where he's like, I've activated all your hell spores. And he's like, oh my. I mean, no. I beat you up now.
He was beating him up to fight the feelings inside of him, you were saying.
Yep. But it didn't work.
So I think that I can't wait to see that fight between the two. Maybe they don't end up fighting, but somehow Batman's going to make it back home with Damian's body, dead or alive. And I really can't wait to read that. Great cover by Pat Gleason.
Mm-hmm. Next we have Robin Rises Alpha number 7. The headline is, Batman's been to the hells of Apocalypse and back just to retrieve his son's body. But what has he brought back with him? And who is the new Robin?
Who is the new Robin? I think we're going to find out by our review coming up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we will. And we'll talk about it when we get there.
The cover shows a Damian with like eyes lit up, kind of like
he's
like
got
Darkseid
eyes. What are they called? The Omega Beam eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's got to jump over somebody, so Damian hits them instead, and he can go, no one's ever dodged my Omega Beams. But he can't be in love with Batman because they're related. That's gross.
So I guess that's going to be the book in which we get the newer Robin. I still don't think it's going to be Damian, and it's more evident by the book that we ended up getting.
Yeah, it is.
The final book on the DC solicitations that we wanted to cover, one we're obviously going to get, is the Harley Quinn Holiday Special number 1. This it's another compilation book with different artists, similar to the number 0 issue. Some of the artists include Darwin Cook, John Timms, and others.
I'm surprised Deanie didn't hop on this and throw Jingle Bell in there also.
Yeah.
Because that would be a very Deanie thing to do. This will be 48 pages with a price point of $4.99 with a New Year's Eve variant by Amanda Connor.
I'm going to have to get both covers. I have to.
The Reasons I'm Broke.
The Reasons I'm Broke. Amanda Connor and Darwin Cook in December. Those two artists.
And all the holidays.
And the holidays, yep.
And everything else. It's weird. It's right around the corner, too. If you guys haven't started holiday shopping, do it now.
Warning you.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear you complaining later about the lines and how you're running out of time and how the store is sold out. Your ass should have been buying that shit now.
Right after Turkey Day. Day after, like,
you're
it's done.
Yeah.
Just, if
Too
you
late.
haven't bought, it's over. We're so cynical about the holidays.
But it's true.
Like, oh, here they come.
Like, I work in retail. I see it every year. Same thing.
I work theme parks. It's even worse.
Before we move into some questions of the week and a review from iTunes, we do want to give a shout out to our fellow podcast partners on nerdupmedia.com, Those Two Jerks.
Yes. Those Two Jerks podcast will be celebrating their 1-year anniversary.
And they're going to celebrate it in style with a special guest, George Lowe. He is the voice of Space Ghost from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which aired on Cartoon Network.
I used to watch that show all the time. I don't think I really understood it, but it was Space Ghost, so
yeah,
I watched
even as kids, like, we enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to go back and watch it as an adult now, because I feel like I'd get some more of the jokes in the show.
Probably. We should.
That's a great guest. Good job, guys. Mm-hmm. Again, you can check out their show. If you like ours, you'll like theirs on nerdupmedia.com.
Now we're going to move into some questions of the week. First up, we asked all you brokettes, what do you all think of the Batman Gotham Knight movie? Which segment was your favorite?
This one came out years ago, right before The Dark Knight. It was kind of like a companion movie with it. They said it took place in the same universe, but honestly, it stands on its own, which I love. So first we're going to go over a couple of answers, then we'll give our thoughts. First comes Frankie from Facebook, who actually quoted Alfred saying, "Sir, give me your hand." And Batman whispers, I can't. He goes on to say, "My understanding is that no matter how hard Batman tries, he's never going to win." He is talking about the scene in which he is digging through the sewer and he finds all of the guns that people have thrown away after shooting someone, all these criminals, these illegal guns, and he's just trying to carry them all to get them away from Gotham, and there's just too many. And that's when he's saying, I can't give you my hand.
Oh, right here in the feels. Oh, that was great.
It was awesome.
Next from Twitter, we have @John72Tex, who said, I was disappointed in it. The only segment I liked, kind of, was the Deadshot scene.
Yeah, the Deadshot segment was written by Alan Burnett, who we talked about earlier with the Justice League
the
movie.
late Alan Burnett.
I'll agree with John on this one, in that Deadshot was the best segment on the DVD. But I wasn't disappointed when it first came out, and I still enjoy watching it from time to time. Most of the segments are really enjoyable. I think the one I liked the least was probably the Scarecrow one.
I remember them vaguely. It's been years and years. I think you had first gotten it, and you're like, let's watch this. And it was probably after work, so I was probably falling asleep. I do remember the one with the guns, and I do remember tearing up. And even now, I'm like, oh no, Batman, I'll save you too. And then there was a segment, the art in it was great. That was probably one of my favorite parts, because every segment had a different artist, which was awesome. But I loved when they did like anime Bruce Wayne. And I was like, I'd watch an anime with you in it. You're like Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, a quick rundown of these segments was the first one, which was all the kids. They were talking about Batman and how each one saw a different version of Batman. I believe it was based on the animated series episode where all the kids are talking about Batman as well.
With Joel Schumacher in
it. They also had the Scarecrow one again, which was my least favorite. Batman goes into the sewers, he fights the Scarecrow, he's got an army that he's building. Didn't really care for it. Working through the pain, it shows how Batman trained to try to shut down that pain that he feels as he goes out every night, which I thought was great. There's also the one with the GCPD, in which one of the, I want to say it's Falcone, holds up one of the officers as they're having a shootout between the two gangs, and Batman like somehow rushes in front of him and takes his gun away and says, no, you're not going to shoot her. That was a really well animated scene, and I really liked the story to that. Like a small little action thing, but it's so full of Batman. And then, of course, the Deadshot one, which was our favorite one. Deadshot's trying to take down Gordon. Batman's going to have none of that. And it's really cool.
I won't have none of this. Psh.
Exactly.
Beats him up.
Was that your favorite segment too, the Deadshot one?
I think so. I think I remember liking that one the most. We'll just have to rewatch it. Why
yeah,
not?
That's fine. An excuse to watch it again.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you for all that responded, though. It's great to always hear your thoughts.
Yeah, if you ever want to respond to any of the questions, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke, or on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke. Make it easy on yourself, though. Just head on over to nerdupmedia.com. We have links for all of that on there.
Next, we had a brokette who asked us a question of the week. From Twitter @AaronTheRed1 asks, what's your favorite non-Batman comic?
That is a great question and a tough one to answer. I can answer this one of two ways. My favorite non-Batman comic, well, that would be Batman and Robin. Because obviously he's naming specifically the Scott Snyder Batman comic.
He means a comic that does not have Batman in it. So you cannot pick a Justice League.
Right.
You cannot pick anything with Batman in it.
You might as well say, like, your favorite non-DC book.
Because all
we pick up with DC has Batman in some way, shape, or form.
We even draw Batman in the corners sometimes.
Here he is with Sinestro. They're both beating up Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan had to run his mouth again. Yours, I'm going to... Actually, I'll let you answer because I know the answer to that one.
Everybody knows the answer to that one. If you listen to me at all, you know it's Saga. Like, No question. It's always my pick of the week when it comes out. I don't think it's ever not been my pick of the week. I think it even beat out Dustin Nguyen's Little Gotham. And Little Gotham's probably my favorite Batman comic.
There you go.
So, good job, Saga.
I'll answer this. My favorite non-Batman book from Marvel would be, currently it's She-Hulk. It was Superior Spider-Man, but now that that's over, it's back to She-Hulk. Great comic. I really recommend it to everyone. Well written, well drawn. As far as indie books, I'm in between Saga, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, both excellent titles. Sex Criminals is another good one, but I'd probably be stuck between TMNT and Saga.
Saga. You like Saga the best.
I do really like Saga.
It's always your pick of the week, too.
If I had to pick...
I pick it as your pick of the week.
If I had to pick a DC book, non-Batman related, it was Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run. Loved it. Sinestro, now I'm really enjoying, too. Justice League United is really fun.
Batman's in it sometimes. Doesn't count.
I guess I'd have to say probably Sinestro would be the
Sinestro's
DC non-Batman book.
Good picks.
It changes, though.
Good picks.
It really changes all the time.
Depends on what's the new arc and all that
Who's
kind of fun
currently
stuff.
on the book,
exactly.
right. This week we want to share an iTunes review from B-Stags50. B-Stags said, "Really funny to listen to, and I'm really glad I downloaded this. As I mentioned in another review, there's great chemistry."
We do have good chemistry. We should get married or something.
Thank you so much, B-Stags50. Thank you for the review. We always appreciate that from the listeners. If you write us a review on iTunes, again, you can find the link on nerdupmedia.com. We'll give you a shout out on the podcast, and we'll read some more next week.
Absolutely. So I think that will do it for our news this week. And we can go ahead and move into our comics. So we're going to start out with Marvel. We have Edge of Spider-Verse #2, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman. This one is written by Jason Latour, with art by Robbie Rodriguez, and colorist is Rico Renzi.
A lot of hype behind this book. When it was first announced, a lot of customers came in asking for it, as they do with things that just get solicited. They assume that it's already out, but it's actually 3 months out. And it's finally out, and I do think we're going to sell out at the shop by this weekend, because we have been selling this really, really quickly.
I agree. I did really enjoy this book. For me, reading it, a lot of the time I was going, oh, this is just like Batgirl. But then she did the thing at the end, and I'm like, oh shit, this isn't like Batgirl. Good for her.
I will say this about the book. I was a little bit let down with it. I kind of expected something a little more with an indie spin to it, kind of like She-Hulk has been, or the upcoming Batgirl, how they're changing up the tone. And that's what I thought this Gwen Stacy book was going to be. They do have some great ideas on this, but they don't really quite reach out and make something really, really different and new and entertaining.
I feel like they tried to stuff a 6-issue miniseries into one book.
That definitely makes sense.
That's kind of what it feels like, because, like you said, there's many great ideas. They're just not all developed and put together well. For example, in the beginning, they had this whole, this is what just happened. Did that really just happen? Like, did we ever see any of that in another book? I know that I didn't. And while I could pick up what they were talking about and, you know, her story of how she came to be Spider-Woman, I would have liked to have seen that play through, because it looked like a really interesting story.
If we see more of her in the Edge of Spider-Verse, which we are going to be picking up, great. I would love to see how she interacts with the other Spider-Men. More, though, I want to see a whole series come out of this. Hopefully this sold well enough where we can actually dive in and take our time with this character. I mean, the costume design is awesome. The character,
amazing, yeah.
Her relationship with her father is, like you mentioned, very, very similar to Batgirl's, and we do enjoy Batgirl, so why not have the Spider-Woman version of that?
I think her costume, we're going to see a lot of cosplayers with it, too, because it is
Without
so
a
unique.
doubt.
Yes, it's very interesting.
So if anything, we want to read more. I like this Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman. As far as this issue, it could have done just a little bit more. Next is Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man #5, written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David Marquez, colors by Justin Ponsor.
You have to go and read those with your whole Hispanic accent and make me sound weird when I'm like, Robbie Rodriguez.
I'm just trying to say it the right way.
I enjoyed this book as well. The ending was crazy.
It looks like we are going to finally get some answers as to who this Peter Parker is. And we also got to see that Miles is starting to have probably more friends than Peter Parker did, as far as like with Shield and the police. And that's really nice because Miles is a much younger Spider-Man and he could use the help. And as you've seen, he's gone through some shit that Peter Parker has not gone through in the exact same way. So I think that's why we relate so much to Miles, because he's not just a carbon copy of Peter. They are doing their own thing with the Spider-Man. And I don't want Peter Parker's return to mean that Ultimate Spider-Man is back and replaces Miles. I think there's too much history here with Miles and too many good things happening for it. But this is just the first arc. It could be a clone. It could be whatever.
I definitely don't think this is going to be the end of Miles, though. They've created such an amazing character that I think so many more people can relate to. Because I could never relate to Peter. I'm like, yeah, Peter's there. He's a goody two-shoes. He's got this all figured out. Da-da-da-da, whatever. Even the movies, I was just kind of like, yeah, he's just whiny. He should probably brush his hair.
He could be the next Robin.
But with Miles, I'm interested in his, relationship with his girlfriend. Is that going to work out? And his relationship with his best friend, who I was pretty sure liked him at one point, but we've just kind of forgotten all about that, apparently.
They do make a gay joke in this with them.
They do, which I enjoyed. But now he's got this relationship with this cop, and we still don't know what's going on with his dad. And, there's just so much there that I want to learn more about him. And I feel like if I were in his situation, I would kind of be going through the same things that he is too.
But we do want to give out a digital version of this comic to a brokehead out there. First one that heads on over to marvel.com/redeem, enter in this code and read it for yourself.
The code is NTMJCE47TM27.
Whoever got it, let us know what you thought on Twitter or on Facebook.
Next up on our Marvel list this week, we have Superior Spider-Man number 33. This is written by Dan Slott and Christos Gage, with art by Giuseppe Camuncoli, and colorist is Antonio Fabella.
As Dan Slott said on Twitter, the final Superior Spider-Man comic.
No!
Again.
No!
Like I have to go through Superior Spider-Man withdrawals for a second time.
And then they're like, oh, but we'll bring it back a second time.
He's an Edge of Spider-Verse. I'm like, all right.
You would pick those up too, just to see him.
Excellent issue.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes. It was very, very good.
Superior Spider-Man builds his army of spider people from all the different universes, stays closer to the Spider-Men that can actually kill, that will take that extra step, people that are more similar to how he operates. And he goes up against this killer who is destroying all of the Spider-Men in the different universes. How does it work out? You'll have to read to find out.
You know what I did like most about this book, though? They made me care about that villain.
Yeah, I agree. There's a backup story where they give you an origin to this guy. They don't tell us why exactly he's killing all the Spider-Men, but we will find out in Edge of Spider-Verse. It's just enough to hook us into the entire story.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was my favorite part. There were still some cool Spider-Men, though. Like Monkey Spider-Man, Six-Arm Spider-Man, but
There was a Spider-Woman, too.
There was a Spider-Woman. I like how she was wearing much less than the rest of them, too. Like, really, guys? Okay.
Do you think we'll see a Superior Spider-Man #1 in the future?
I think it could happen. I think they made an interesting enough character that if they can find some way to keep Otto as Spider-Man without losing Peter Parker again, that it'll happen.
I almost feel like this Edge of Spider-Verse could be like a good way that they can keep everything. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it's going to work out. Maybe it could just be that he just goes back to his regular timeline as it was in number 19, I believe it was. But we'll see. But I do want to see a Superior Spider-Man #1 in the future.
Hopefully. It was great story, and what they did with him in the beginning of that series as far as his character development was amazing. If they could keep that up, it would definitely sell.
Our one and only indie book before we jump into DC is TMNT Turtles in Time #4 of 4. It is written by Paul Allor, art by Dan Duncan, and colors by Rhonda Pattison.
This is my pick of the week. You can't pick it because it's my pick of the week and I already picked it.
That's fine. It's not my pick of the week.
It should be your pick
Boo.
of the week. It should be your pick of the week. But you're just saying that because I already picked it, so you know you can't pick it.
It was almost my pick of the week because it focuses so much. on my favorite turtle,
So
Donatello.
good. It was so good. This made up for that super horrible last month that we had in this book, which was horrible.
Yeah, the last couple were not the strongest. I think the one we talked about last time was really good, but then the two before that, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, this made up for all of that. This was amazing.
So we've had the turtles go into the prehistoric past. We've had them go into ancient Japan as well, so something a little bit closer. Now they're in the future with number 4.
They were pirates too.
They were pirates as well. Your favorite one. Did you like that pirate story more than this one?
Nope.
Wow, that surprises me.
I like this one better than the Pirates one. The Pirate ones was still great because Mikey was amazing, but this was even better than that.
The turtle that grew the most out of this entire thing, I feel like, is Donatello, because this final one shows you, I guess, the journey that they all kind of come to, and the lesson that they all knew, except for Donatello. Donatello is the one who doubts their actions, and he's always questioning everything to make sure that it is the best decision. And you really have to read this book, even if you didn't read the other 3 parts. It's a great standalone story. If you're a Donatello fan, definitely get this.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're just a turtle fan in general, because this again gives me what I love from the turtles, which is that brotherly love and relationship that they express very little in this book, but you can feel it so much by the art and by the few words that they do use. And even that thing hanging on the wall, which I don't want to spoil for anybody, but just by that, you can be like, wow, these are, they're family in every sense of the word. And that's what I love so much from the turtles. The time lady thing, she wasn't really in there, and I was totally okay with that because we did not need her in there. It also gives us a very bleak outlook of what the future could be, and they kind of make it seem like there's nothing they can do to stop it. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they continue on with that, going back and seeing how is this going to play into the decisions that they'll make in that future.
Right.
And I want to go to Bumblebee Island. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think especially for Donatello, there will be a crucial point in this upcoming arc with the Shredder and Krang.
And the Bumblebee.
And the Bumblebee, in which Donatello will have to make some kind of decision. And I hope that it all kind of goes back to this Turtles in Time thing where hopefully he was able to change just a little bit or enough of his mind so he can see, you know what, I do have to go through with this or not go through with it, depending on what story they're building. But it just set up so much, but without leaving you feeling like, well, I have to read what happens. It closes out so well.
Right. But I do want to read more.
And now we can jump into our DC books.
First up, we have Batman and Robin, Futures End, #1. This is written by Ray Fox with art by Dustin Nguyen, and the colorist is John Caleese.
Pick of the week.
I knew it.
No, you didn't. You thought it was TMNT.
This was a very good pick of the week, and can I just say, I called it.
You did call it.
My streak has begun. I called it, and it was a big one. This should count as like 5 calling it's.
If you go back to the episode where we covered the first part of Zero Year, you noticed the cup with the R on it.
Yes, I did.
I went back and I heard it, and you're like, that's probably the next Robin. And like you very nonchalantly like, that's probably him right there. And I was like, holy shit, you're right.
And I was right.
You were correct, and I'm really happy that they went with Duke Thomas.
Mm-hmm. I really like this Robin, too. Like, he's not a whiny bitch. He's like, I'm gonna get shit done. And I'm like, yes, you are, Robin. Thank you. His costume's really cool.
Like the other Futures End books, this jumps into the future 5 years, and it stays in continuity with the rest of the Futures End books that they've been building. Batman is still as broken as can be. He uses that spine machine to help him walking around, and he uses his suit to help him mend as he breaks stuff because he's way more fragile now. But that's not going to stop Batman. He'll just come up with something that will immediately give him a painkiller that'll immediately start mending like his bones just enough so they can get through the fight.
That's crazy.
Like he goes through so much. And even as he goes through all of this, and I'm going to go into the story a little bit, the heretic returns, so to speak. Like, we don't know. If you guys don't know, a heretic is the same guy that killed Damian Wayne. So in the future, years later, heretic returns, Batman's fighting him, and he's telling Alfred, I don't want Robin near me. I want to fight him by myself because there will be no other Robins that will get into danger the way that Damian did. That won't happen again. I will die before I put another Robin in danger, because there's already been 2 that die under him. But the last one being the most painful one, his own kid.
Right. It was great. One of my favorite lines, and it doesn't spoil anything. Alfred tells this new Robin, he's like, so there's been like a Killer Croc sighting, like over there. You should go check it out. And he's like, any old lady sees a man in a leather suit and says it's Killer Croc. Like, it's not really Killer Croc. But I did really, really like this one. They set up such an amazing relationship between this Batman and Robin, even though it's the first time we've seen them together. And you really feel like they care about each other. And we don't have a whiny-ass Robin, finally.
Oh, Damian wasn't whiny either.
Well, he wasn't. But the thing I love about this, too, this is an adult Robin. Like, I feel like he can really take care of himself. Whereas the others were kind of following in Batman's shadow. I feel like this one can stand next to Batman.
I think he's the closest thing we've had to Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm. Except not as whiny.
Right.
Because he's not like, Batman, why didn't you call me for the mission? I want to be my own person, but don't leave me.
So we talked about the new costume for Robin. Cape is gone.
Yes.
What do you think?
Awesome. I think it looks great. I like his dreadlocks. I'm just like, keep those.
Someone online's like, why are they tied up? Like, they should leave them down. It's like, no, it doesn't make sense for combat. Like, you want to have it tied up so it's not in your covering face. Up your vision.
Those things hurt when they hit your eye.
That too.
Think if you whip and push,
right,
and he's blind.
Probably puts him down when he's not Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picks up the ladies.
I guess. But this is a story of trust between the new Batman and Robin. And even though we know so little about it, like, they've already made such a parallel between the Damian and Batman relationship and the Duke and Batman relationship that you're just like, you're rooting for Duke already. And you relate with Batman at the same time. Like, Batman, just ask for help, but also don't, because I don't want you to feel pain again. And it's got you all over the place. And you could have sworn this was written by Peter J. Tomasi, but Ray Fox somehow fits it in perfectly. So it's like it's written by Peter, and it fits perfectly with what he's been building with the New 52. Now talk about Dustin Nguyen, because he killed it also. Yes,
Dustin Nguyen is amazing, as always.
I don't know if he designed the new Robin suit.
I hope he did.
But he drew it really well.
He did design Bluebird, didn't he?
Yes.
He designed her costume, which was great. He's just put more zeros on his paycheck. Keep him around.
Love Dustin Nguyen. Love Dustin.
Yes. I told you he's the best. You didn't believe me at first.
And I'm surprised this was not your pick of the week, because it's drawn by Dustin Nguyen. It has a great Robin. It has a great story.
But Turtles was so good. Turtles... Okay, here's the thing. Now, guys... I don't know if I've explained this before, but when I read comics, I don't read like DC first and then Marvel. I put them in order of the ones that I'm least excited for to the ones that I'm most excited for. So the one I really want to read goes on the bottom, and the one I don't really want to read goes on the top. Turtles was on the top this week, because I was like, it hasn't been the strongest, and it surprised the shit out of me. Batman and Robin was on the bottom, and yes, it was good, but Turtles surprised me, so that's why they won.
Either way you win. Pick up both if you can.
Do you Dustin win? It's so funny. I'm sorry, continue. Yes, definitely pick up Batman and Robin Futures End #1.
Next on the list is Batman, Superman, Futures End #1, also known as Superman Loves Batman, Futures End #1. Written by Greg Pak, art by Jack Herbert, Cliff Richards, and Vicente Cifuentes, with colors by Hi-Fi.
Good job, Hi-Fi.
Or is it Hi-Fi?
Maybe it's Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi.
Or Hi-Fi. So this was Superman fan fiction writing about what would Batman do if I disappeared. And
should we play the Superman Loves Batman theme song?
Go ahead and play it.
I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound.
So yes, that is exactly what this is. Essentially, there's been a war.
This is the outcome to the Earth 2 war between them and the New 52, because if I remember correctly, their universe is gone, so they escaped into ours, or rather, the New 52 one, and there was a war between the two, and I guess a lot of people died. Something Batman did in this pissed off Superman to the point where Superman's like, I'm gone, and left.
Now, keep in mind, we don't know what that is, because this is Superman's fan fiction, and Superman realizes that there's nothing that Batman could do that would piss him off enough to stop talking to him. That's just the truth. So that's why we don't know what this is. But Superman is saying, hypothetically, let's say there was something that Batman did that pissed me off so much I didn't want to talk to him. And I'm just going to stay mad. Because he was feeling angry because Batman went out with a new girl. So he's like, I'm going to write this fan fiction now.
He does like writing those, doesn't he?
He does, apparently. Because really, read this book and tell me, like, I don't think Batman would do any of this.
The one thing that is Batman-like with the whole book is that Batman does say, you know what? If Superman's not going to come, the world still has me. And nothing's going to keep me from doing my job. Like, my body is shit, as we all know from the Future's End stories. Mm-hmm. He can't function. But he'll force himself to function with Alfred monitoring his heart, even though he's getting like, you're about to get into a heart attack. I don't care. I'm going to keep fighting. And that's kind of the message of this book. It's like, fuck you, Clark. I'm going to keep being Batman, and I won't turn my back on the world. Be pissed off at me? Whatever. But at least I don't turn away.
See, the part I held on to this from the Superman fan fiction was, oh, if only Clark were here. That's how Clark writes Batman. Oh, if only he were here. Oh, I should just call for him, but I won't. Okay, I'll call for him.
That's
true.
true.
But he's angry with me.
That's totally Superman writing.
Exactly. That is exactly Superman writing for Batman.
Because Batman would never go through all this.
Never any of that. Never any. The whole thing is pretty much a letter to Clark. Pretty much. Like, oh, if only you were here, you would know what to do. I'm like, Batman, no.
Because Superman knows Batman would never be that worried about Superman or wanting to know where he is. Never.
Exactly. So go ahead and read it and see that it's Superman writing fan fiction about him and Batman. Because it's the truth.
Such a fun book. Love it.
I love that this is my superpower and I can just find these things. Because normal people would be like, no, it's just a normal book. No, it's not, sir.
Superman loves Batman. What? Superman loves Batman. Keep staring like they're like, I don't think I want to argue now.
You look real violent. Like, oh.
They must know something I don't.
You're gonna stab me? I don't understand. And our final book of the week is Justice League Future's End #1. This is written by Jeff Lemire with art by Jed Daughtry and colorist is Gabe Eltaeb.
My pass of the week.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. This is continuing the Justice League United Future's End #1, which wasn't very good.
This one was somehow worse, in my opinion.
This did have Dr. Manhattan in it, though.
It was totally Dr. Manhattan. It's Captain Atom, but it's Dr. Manhattan.
Captain Dr. Manhattan.
If I remember correctly, Dr. Manhattan is actually based on the character of Captain Atom. But in this one, it's... I don't know. I just really...
It shouldn't have been called Justice League. It should have just been called Captain Atom. Because that's all we followed. And he's just like, oh, life sucks. Let me free so I can go do things. And they're like, no, you have to stay here.
And Flash punched him in the chin at one point.
And he's like, I can manipulate all things. I've already caught you before you even walked. I'm like... Excuse me? Are you going to create a spaceship on Mars and kidnap a girl? I'm confused.
Poor Martian Manhunter, though.
Yeah. Just getting all beat up, and he's like, I am alone here. And he walked out. I should do the voices for this book, man. It'd be so good.
The downside is you had to have read Justice League United to understand this, and... From what I remember, nowhere in this book does it say previously in Justice League United or Part 2, read Part 1 in Justice League United. It's not there.
Another thing I didn't like about this, so we're 5 years in the future looking at the new Justice League. Did you care about a single Justice League member?
the Flash, but he's not new.
But he's not new.
And then Equinox, who I only like because of Justice League United.
Exactly. And Martian Manhunter.
And Martian Manhunter and Cyborg.
All these new people I did not care about. You had Robo American Flag Man. You had girl with suit that looked like she had nipples on it. I'm not gonna lie, I did a double take. You had weirdo gold head man. I was just very confused. I'm sure they all have great backstories and there's a wonderful way that they came together, but I did not feel like they were working as a team at all. Oh, you had that guy who got sucked up by energy and they're like, oh no, he's dead. And then 2 seconds later, he's back. And I'm like, okay, I guess that took a while because you said it took a while, but nobody cared when you were gone.
It's just a fight scene. That's all this comic book is. It's a fight scene and then the Martian Manhunter saving the day.
And Captain Atom going, oh, my life. Finally, my life were better. I'm just going to break free from my bondage.
These shackles of reality.
Nobody understands me.
There's a difference between the way that Captain Atom was being and the way that Dr. Manhattan was being.
Yes.
There's something romantic about the way Dr. Manhattan was in Before Watchmen. Not so much with this Captain Atom.
I'm now always going to picture Captain Atom with like a pink scarf around his neck. Like, oh, why can't we all just be free?
Let go of your inhibitions.
Just be who you are. He's my new favorite character.
I think you like this book now.
Only when I do the voices.
So that was our comics for the week and the podcast as well. To summarize, my pick of the week was Batman and Robin Futures End #1.
And mine was TMNT Turtles in Time #4 of 4.
Both our passes of the week was Justice League Futures End #1.
Or Captain Atom #1.
We appreciate all of the listens, Brocats, and all of the comments and the reviews. Please don't stop. Keep them coming. Mm-hmm. Head on over to nerdupmedia.com. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Listen to our other great shows on there. We talked about those two jerks earlier. Watch the Lazy Gaming Guys. Watch the Read Pile. It's all there. Part of our shows. And like always, leave us a review on iTunes. Definitely helps us.
Absolutely. If you guys go to our YouTube page as well, we have some great unboxings. We're always getting those Batman black and whites.
What's the next one?
Oh man, what is the next one?
Lil Gotham. Lil Gotham.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Are we buying 2 of all of them?
I only ordered 1. You told me to only get 1 of each.
But how am I going to play with one and then save one forever?
I think you're just gonna end up opening them. That's what's gonna happen.
You know, even if you got me 2, I'd end up opening both and playing with both of them.
I just hand them to you like, Kelly, 1 is for you to play with, and then they're already open. Like, 2 Batman.
They're in like a little kitchen and Batman has an apron on somehow. But Kelly, why do you need 2 Batman? One's a clone. Apparently you didn't read Futures End.
So we're gonna be doing a review for the Lil Gotham figurines.
I'm so excited.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
That'll be on the YouTube channel. As always, subscribe.
As always, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.